Hey, welcome back to more Great Sony Chronicles. Last time we did most of the trial for the Adventure of the Runaway Room, and we had McGilda up on the stand to explain that there in fact was a third party, but they're not involved with the case, so I'm not clear how much that will help us. But then a smoke bomb went off and we all had to leave, so let's see how the trial proceeds from
It
here.
was the bomb.
What up?
I'm
It's
sorry.
your boy Benny D.
Ew. What on earth just happened in there?
Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened.
Isasato,
I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke.
smoke grenade. It sounds like the sort of things ninja uses. Ugh.
Ninjas use.
Yeah, that.
They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long.
It's way too early for me to stumble over words. But who would have done something like that?
The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently.
Flee the courtroom? Why?
Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear.
A young girl. And could it be other passenger that Mr. McGilda was just talking about?
My thoughts exactly.
So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilda, actually? So many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here.
I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl.
Who is she, I wonder? What was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself?
There's another matter that's troubling me.
What's that?
The 20 pence.
Oh,
According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly.
is that written in the book also?
I assume she's got notes in there or something.
Yeah, probably.
But she used it as like a guide on things. I don't know, whatever. Now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers.
Which means the figures don't seem to add up again.
She's right. That is strange.
Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away.
Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial.
No, soon enough, Mrs. Sato.
Yes.
That's my line.
Yes.
It's Olivier Twist.
Oh god, it is. It does look like fucking Olivia Twist.
I missed a line now.
Sorry.
There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilda. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before.
Like recent eventful recess. The court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks,
My lord.
I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier.
Seems to be an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army.
Good gracious! The army! What in the devil's name?
It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. Now she occupies the stand.
Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What's the meaning of this deplorable behavior? If I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded. I think perhaps I ought to explain here why it is that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. It's all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony to the court exactly how this young woman involved in the case.
Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything.
Hmm.
Yes.
Fascinating question. I took the back seat of the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, Beggarra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. And a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. But I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There's a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. But from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus, is that correct? Exactly as the defense counsel said. This last was the fifth passenger, my lord. Menard. Yeah.
Lard.
Very well. Very well. Now, the defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Rather, no. I have no idea where to start.
I guess we just start pressing. We do what we do every
Ooh,
night.
chapter break did not give me my
Start
hit
pressing every
back.
statement.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, well, let's see.
We might die.
Loud
That's
thud.
spicy.
What's that loud thud about?
Loud thud,
Loud-
you say,
Shit.
and a scream.
Hey, that's right. Should I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise.
You think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed?
Well, now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I would like to say. The sound woke me and I opened my eyes. There wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor.
You didn't see anyone. At the same moment, you did hear a scream.
Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume. Above me, no, my lord. But from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes.
Okay.
You sat him up. The victim, you mean?
I did. I was seated across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you?
I would.
It's common courtesy, so it is.
I find that a little hard to believe.
Ada.
Lord Van Zeeks. Now, why would that be?
You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. The upstanding member of London society, that is.
So now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. Business of the money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble.
Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there?
He's alive, no. I was always intended to report it, so I was. Only, I had in mind to find out the whys and wherefores first.
Wherefore is why.
The whys and whys.
Yeah.
Whys and wherefores?
You are. There are some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Your good self do just the same.
Yes. The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing.
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim.
So I did, sir, so I did. As well as I could see, that is.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Well, now, it's a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Good gracious!
Under your backside?
And when I lifted the seat on which I had been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage.
Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember?
Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence.
This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside.
And that's when I found her.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, what we got?
Double check. I mean, we know the cubbyhole's
Well,
there.
let's open the door and go inside, shall we? Yeah, but maybe the game wants us to look in and see, like,
Ugh,
something
the scene of
specific
a murder. We already read
with this
this.
context. Oh, right. Yeah, it's true. Okay, so here's the cubby hole.
Oh, there's one on the floor. Oh?
There's a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty.
Excuse you.
Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is.
There's stuff in there before. Also, is that blood on the floor always there?
It's blood, isn't it?
It's the blood that Steak was hallucinating before, clearly. Is something wrong?
Oh, it's just, well, this bloodstain is so obvious, that's all. Yes, Van Zieks has made no mention of it. Yeah, it's new.
I suppose that does seem a little strange.
There's such a bad feeling about this.
Okay.
Hold it!
Say she was hiding herself.
Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim of that light, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, me heart nearly stopped beating in me chest.
You're really overacting this.
Still and all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chin wag with her.
Seat opposite.
That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir. Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. A fellow's voice this time.
Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats.
Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, you must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with a knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witness did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilded. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl, the late Mr. Mason. Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. It's certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and really confused, perhaps, with this young girl.
Yeah, it was kind of dark, and they were looking from above, but not a lot, so...
Yeah. So that, of course. With a scream from the road over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses.
I do wonder how you must be feeling, Mr. Naruhodo.
Being the defendant's lawyer, and yet finding myself as stunned as everyone else at his testimony. Let's just say it's trying.
We certainly had precious little time to talk to Mr. McGilded before the trial. But we mustn't be dispirited. We must just try to learn all the facts we can.
Check the dialogue history. Seriously. You must be. There's no comma. I do wonder how he must be feeling, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, how he's feeling, Naruhodo.
Now you must be feeling Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I would put
Should
a
be a
comma there, but
comma.
I don't think it's technically grammatically necessary.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that seems to maybe be a regional thing. I very often see
Oh.
Brits writing, if they're writing dialogue, and somebody says something and then addresses it to someone at the end, they just like won't put a comma between the statement and then the person's name. Whereas I see that more often in American stuff. I've noticed kind of a trend there, and this was localized by Nintendo of Europe, so.
Yeah.
it's funnier to imagine Susato asking him if he's feeling himself.
Mr. Naruhodo, no grumbling, even in your head.
Missed a line, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, whoops.
We arrived in London this morning. It didn't seem my day panning out like this.
Mr. Naruhodo, no grumbling, even in your head.
Why didn't you turn it to me? How did you know?
It's time for more quirky questions.
Hold it!
Time for quirky questions.
When you first got on the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board?
Or not, the cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passengers, twere. I see. Aye, and that's why I took the backside as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is.
Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat?
By all means, 'tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite to the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, it's the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease.
Well, he wasn't the first if she was already in the cubby.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is this girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord.
Have you never seen the name Gina
Aye.
before?
Oh, fuck. Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord.
Gina?
She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. It's commonly called a pickpocket.
What?
This girl here, a petty thief? We hang those, you know. Order! Order! It is true, Miss Lestrade. Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Oh. Ah!
Ink shot.
How dare you? What is the meaning of this? Ah! The girl, she's gone!
Open your
Open your
eyes.
eyes.
I'm over here.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Good gracious! Oh!
What's the point in that little sidestep?
I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on! That's what's in your heads, ain't it?
No, not at all. It's a court of law. We're not... We're here to determine the truth, not cast a reason face.
Look, knives are for cads. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I know for what I do is use fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I've got pride in what I do.
What? Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs?
Oh, this? Yeah, she's in a bag I lifted the other day. Down they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, innit? I like the pink best.
Do not wave that thing in my direction again.
So,
Like,
you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question?
Sound like he had something to say
I
then.
need a fucking drink. It's alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now.
Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said.
Ford accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, a valid and significant witness in this case. According to the young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question.
Alright, if I have to. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I tell you, can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin, I did. And the screen just came out. Because of that, this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind.
Yes, he let you go.
I fail to understand why you would let the street urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oh, the simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact.
How?
As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration has come far. It's where I was slept that night. And the cubbyhole of which you have spoken is underneath the seat, I presume. Yes. It does appear to be just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. Aye, but of course, the wee lass was there. Because I'd parked myself on the seat for the duration. Ah. So you see, that's why I left the last bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined, when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your action would result in innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent.
Nice for you.
So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass.
My goodness.
What a perfect gentleman.
My lord! This is a fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir.
We'll call we win. Oh, wait now.
Calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time.
Oh, okay. Takes a lot. All 6 members of the jury could consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty.
They are consenting with each other. It is. The term for
Yeah.
It's a term for agreeing. Mr. Naruhodo, this... Well, it must mean...
It must mean what?
Oh, that we're victorious.
One? Are you sure?
Objection!
No, bitch. If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray do give the discourtesy. It's funny because Wellington is a steak, and that's me. This really is a consummate example.
Ease 8. Out now.
The one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day. Emotion? The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in the investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGillet's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? You should know this because we looked before.
Yeah. Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, Counsel?
Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. I enjoy adding syllables to words. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend. Huh? Me? The carriage was submitted as evidence. Doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be?
But to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy.
Sorry?
Go ahead. Get to the court now, fella. It's all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks.
What happens if you actually hadn't checked it?
I don't know.
Well, Counsel, do you have something to say on this matter?
How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of the little compartment under the seat in the omnibus?
I see.
I mean,
I feel like we should
My
just
gut
tell the
tells-
truth.
yeah, I feel like we should tell the truth.
Mhm.
But, like, that's gonna get our client convicted. Like,
Hmm. Well, it's what Phoenix would do. He always pursues the truth.
yeah.
Really
Sometimes
don't know
it's
if giving
more
results as helping
complicated
my
than the
cause as
simplest.
counsel for the defense.
You know, the easy way out isn't the right way.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, at least. I first examined the compartment. I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes.
Are you sure, Counsel? Come on, be whist.
Ada.
What are you saying now, you daft dog? I thought you were on my side here.
What game are you playing? The Great Ace Attorney. Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. It seems to me, to state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Interesting. Someone in court who doesn't lie. That's a new one.
It's not altogether pleasing, fella.
I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded.
Don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interest here, lad.
Maybe you shouldn't have done the murder.
A fella's memory is a curious thing, and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider that. That there cubbyhole to the sea is empty as a devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken?
Why? I feel like something's not right here.
I would like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think.
That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times, so it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. That money-lending fleecer and the pig purse are lying!
That's right, if you were actually supposed to lie...
Leave, I'm nearly taken in. Stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, the lot of them.
What? Oh no.
It's a trick. Of course it's a trick. I fucking love Knife Guy's design. It's very funny.
Quite so. I must concur here.
Uh-oh.
With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. I have one line. But every time a different truth, it seems. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate.
Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. What's on the defense? Begin your questioning of the witness, please.
Yes, my lord. What just happened? The balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bail is at work, it would seem.
Let's see.
Hold it!
Oh, shit, guys, she's coming out. You couldn't see out of the cabin at all.
Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion out with my head and look out the crack. Then I can have a butcher's at who I'm going to fiddle.
I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher.
I mean, I have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spelled his whole journey right over me head.
For that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out. I see.
Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Hobson's choice.
Why doesn't he just stick to picking people's pockets in the open, then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor.
Do you guys know what she meant by why a butcher's means a look?
No.
It's Cockney rhyming slang.
You rhyming slang, yeah.
Yeah, instead of look, it's butcher's hook, I think. So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out under there, nothing else for it. Okay.
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor?
Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump.
You let out a scream involuntarily.
That's right, and then I felt the cushion over my head get lighter all of a sudden.
Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes. Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim. But it not.
Girl, do you see what happened at that crucial moment?
Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke what would have fallen on the floor in the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilded's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns round and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. Yeah, so I've got this.
So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run?
Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a joey to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, isn't it?
I suppose you mean there's no point in spending money to make money. Actually makes sense.
Counsel. Now mind you, this girl is a petty thief. Currently refrain from entertaining her tenants. Well, that does clear up the mystery of the fares and all.
Brother.
Or paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making it 20 to which the cabman testified. And one little scapegrace riding for free.
The big honk of a driver always goes for some grub before his last run, see? So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right?
But your hiding place is a storage compartment. With equipment for the coach. No.
Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much.
Yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you.
Since we've reached the end of that line of inquiry, continue.
Alright.
Waste of time. Why is that?
Well, most nights I'm on my own in the God permit, at least some of the time. What?
Oh, they mentioned God.
I'm gonna look up a Cockney rhyming slang dictionary. What the fuck is God permit? Come on. Well, that's taking a while.
I beg your pardon. Did you say God permit?
Oh, hang on.
I think they're about to explain.
But if we know it before, we can feel
slang
smart.
for English. Hang on. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I didn't even read the line. Whoops. Oh, yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You say the omnibus, I suppose? The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while.
And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away.
That's it. Only that night, this cove was sat on me seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck.
Oh, so you were present in the carriage for the duration. You were under the seat the entire time of events unfolded in the enclosed cabin.
Yeah. Right, mister?
To be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on by a child now, do you?
Maybe you don't. So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then?
Let's see. I think this is the last statement we haven't pressed.
Yeah.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilder discovered you, he pulled you out from under your hiding place.
I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and sat me down in the seat and all.
Next to the victim, Mr. Mason.
Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. And the carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling onto me. How awful. Both my hands got covered in blood. Made me feel as sick as a dog.
Both her hands covered in blood. That must be what the Brewstall passenger saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilder for a while. Is that correct?
He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know me name and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed.
It's Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume.
Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat, I'll see that you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent.
One brief shining moment, yes.
It's clear they are all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we would clinch the verdict we want.
Yes, I think you're right. I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me. I just can't quite put my finger on it. Niggling is a fun word.
Okay.
What do we have?
Let's see.
Stabbed in the abdomen.
I don't think anything here contradicts something, you know? So again, he's missing a button. I noticed that near the beginning, and I'm thinking that's going to come up soon.
Possibly.
But I don't know why she would take a button. I don't think a button would be much to steal. Oh! Well, for a second I'm like, hang on, maybe she... Why didn't she
Maybe she
steal...
stole the knife?
Well, no, because she obviously didn't, because it was there, but like... McGilder was rich, why didn't she try taking it? But he was on the seat, like that.
Yeah, we've already read that.
Yeah, nothing, yeah.
Turns out you have to, like, move the camera rapidly and the button will fall out.
Right. She snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses.
Yep.
It was a waste of time. She had nothing to show for her troubles that night. Again, this could be the button. We could be like, you stole the button, but that seems like kind of a leap to me.
He wasn't there then, as far as we know.
You can't see anything in that.
There's some way she could have seen.
I was gonna say the lamp was on, but I guess the idea is that the actual cubbyhole itself is completely closed off unless she can lift the lid, and she couldn't. So
Yeah.
then she hears the bang.
Here's the solid bang.
Let's look at the people quick, see if anything about that. Oh, we can't, apparently. Never mind. And then because of the scream, McGilder found her, but then he helped her get away.
And the button is on her head. Clearly, that's.
I don't think so. So what was the... Let's see. If we could find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, then we could use it to prove...
That sounds like we're supposed to press, but we already pressed everything.
That sounds like we're supposed to be like, oh, you know, here's something that proves that McGilded is innocent, but we don't normally prove somebody's telling the truth with evidence, like in a cross-examination, so that's weird. Normally you want to point out that something they said is wrong. Oh, it's a tough one.
Objection! I agree.
Yeah, exactly. Like... And they've already talked about the stuff in the cubbyhole. She's like, yeah, I moved it. So we can't exactly present that again and be like... you know?
I feel like there's supposed to be some piece of evidence in here that we missed.
Yeah, maybe try looking at the bloodstain on the floor, because it was definitely new.
We did
that.
we did look at it.
Did you click on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I got a bad feeling about this.
Oh, okay.
Meanwhile, there's nothing in here.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm tempted to look it up, but like we haven't spent that much time on this yet. I feel like, you know.
Yeah.
You should grumble for a little while longer.
Wish I could spend a hint coin or something.
Yeah.
I'm tempted. I feel like this seems like out of place to me. This line doesn't really have anything to do with the incident or what happened, and we do have the whole thing about the dude having the missing button and whatnot.
I guess try it. Safe first, obviously, but
Yeah.
If it's that, that's a real stretch.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be it, but we have to try, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'll try the
nothing else.
picture of the dude with the missing button, and then I'll also try the knife. Oh, hang on, maybe we need to. Oh, hang on. Let's actually examine that. Oh, you can't. Oh, it just lets you zoom in. Never mind.
magnifying glass.
Okay, that's annoying.
Yeah.
There's no way to click on anything, no.
No. Let's try it.
Well, that's silly.
Well, that's not it.
Nope.
Guess it was more necessary on the 3DS.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting nothing.
It's gonna be like, how did you jump? There's no room.
I will also try this knife then.
Objection.
But it's not.
No.
I think we should just look.
I always feel shitty doing this, but yeah, this one's pretty
Yeah.
annoying. Runaway room. Okay. What order did we do the lines in?
Does that matter?
Yes. You have to press the
Oh,
fifth
okay.
statement, and then press the third statement.
Oh, we didn't do that. We did the
Okay,
fifth one
yeah.
last.
Yeah, I think we did 3, 4, 1, 2, 5.
Yeah.
So we had to do
Yeah.
5, then 3.
That's weird.
I think they have done that before,
Yeah.
They have done that before,
they
but
have.
it's dumb. I don't like
It's
it.
usually better hinted at, I feel.
Yeah. Okay.
You couldn't see out into the cabin at all.
Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion out with me head and look out the crack. Then I can have a bitches at who I'm gonna fiddle.
I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher.
I mean, I can have a look. You see, I get under ain't as posh as the other one, see? So most of the time, the passengers put themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the old journey right over me head.
And for that reason you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out. I see.
Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink.
Excuse me.
Now you react. Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded?
Well, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? Oh,
I'm just wondering if Mr. Strahd's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself.
oh no. 'Twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling bad for myself as a young lad. Shut up in the dark. It was terrifying, so it was.
I see. Yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now.
I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well.
Oh, is that a clue?
Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe.
Mr. Strahd! Did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps?
Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring.
Jammers, there's no need to tell the whole world we foibles in the scamp.
What a pity. If only Mr. Strahd had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue.
Yes. Should we make of that last statement of hers?
There we go.
I mean, yeah, what else we
Because she said she heard the bang, but...
Lord! I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important.
Soundly important, but all she said was that she heard nothing.
Yes, which is the profoundly important point. Almost sure of it.
I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Counsel. Nevertheless,
People stop being so damn racist.
Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please.
What? Supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk, I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me.
That's right, insult the judge. Always a good move.
I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring. Right, is this something? Because maybe she should have heard the stabbing? But, like...
Yes.
I mean, it contradicts her own statement that she heard the bang.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I don't know how we
Well,
prove
we
that.
can't point a statement at another statement.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
So I don't know how
okay.
we prove. Because she heard. Okay, yeah.
So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hid yourself.
Not exactly, no.
Sorry?
Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a bitches to see what was what. But then when I saw this swell getting on, I got my head down so he didn't notice me.
Mr. McGilda sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct?
Yeah, would you Adam and Eve it, eh? What a mug! So all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though he stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. So I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to market, snoring like an old dog he was.
Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder?
Okay.
Sure, it doesn't make sense, but how?
There was no one in the
Well,
cabin to start with. So they're saying she's saying Mr. McGilded got on first before the victim.
Which is what he said. No, Mr. McGilded said that he had been on there first. He was the first passenger, it has been established he was the first passenger of the night.
Okay, well, I wasn't saying that's a contradiction. I was literally just stating
Okay.
what that means.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah.
She never heard the door open for the other guy to get on.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So why did we need to press the fifth statement first?
I don't know. What even was the fifth statement? The fifth statement was...
He let me out.
Yeah. I don't know.
Miss Lestrade, what you have just told the court. Clearly at odds with the facts.
Ah!
Odds? Are you sure, man?
Absolutely.
So I think what this establishes is we need to basically go in order and press every statement twice.
Probably. Well, if nothing else stands out to us.
Yeah.
It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. Van Zeeks realized it too.
Counsel, I must insist you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least.
Yes, my lord.
I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court.
According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she had nothing but the sound of Mr. McGillen snoring. But think, Ryunosuke, think! Something else she should have heard.
I think the easiest path here is person and then select Mason.
Yeah.
Rather, like the other thing would be show the carriage and then point to the doors. I think it makes more sense to show Mason.
Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. I feel like the fact that you can pick to present a person means it's a person.
Yeah.
A particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. Sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person.
Take that!
Yeah, there we go. Thrice fired Mason.
Yes, my lord. Sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus.
Order! Explain your reasoning, counsel.
Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct?
Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I?
And the next person aboard the omnibus was Mr. McGilded.
It was. The soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard.
You're gonna be like, oh, they boarded together?
At least not in plain sight.
You were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time.
I'd not just say as much. I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure.
From what we heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. In which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all?
No, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, weren't it? Waiting for this swell to leave.
In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage?
Just when and how did they make the switch?
We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. I have to keep saying enclosed cabin, there's only one cabin. Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts.